Today I'm doing a get ready with me with some drugstore products I've had my eye on for a while. I'm looking forward to playing with them. Come along and join me. Hi everyone, welcome back. This is Pretty Over 50. I'm Kimberly and I'm really glad you're here. Today I'm going to be using some new to me drugstore makeup that I've had my eye on for a while. Some of them I'm using for the first time, and a couple of them I've used a couple of times, but I'm not really familiar with them yet. So if you're interested in makeup for the over 50 woman and mature skin, stick around. This is going to be perfect for you. Before we get started, if you'd like to be subscribed to my channel and you're not yet, you can just click that red subscribe button right underneath the video. And if you'd like to be notified of my upcoming videos, just click that notification bell and YouTube will let you know when there's a new video up to see. So I have a bunch of new goodies from the drugstore. I actually have quite a bit that I had my eye on for a little while, and I finally picked them up just a couple of days ago. So I'm going to be going over them today and kind of telling you what I think about them, and you can see how they look on the skin. So let's go ahead and get going. I've already primed and prepped my skin. I've done my serums and my moisturizers and my sunscreens and got all that done. And I've actually done my eyebrows off camera. And on my lips, I'm wearing a little bit of the Milani Keep It Full. I've reviewed this in a couple of my videos. I really like this lip gloss, and it says it's a plumper as well. I just can't get it to stay on my lips very well, although I still wear it. I wear it over other lipsticks, and I like to put it on when I'm doing my makeup in the morning because it keeps my lips moisturized, and I guess I kind of feel like it plumps them up a little bit, smooths out those lines. So that's what I'm wearing on my lips this morning. The first product I'm going to try, this is absolutely new to me. It's the e.l.f. Concealer. Now this is not the e.l.f. Camo Concealer. That's a completely different product. This is an e.l.f. concealer and highlighter 2-in-1, and I hadn't seen it before, so I thought I'd go ahead and try it. And this highlighter part, they say that you can put it over the concealer for an instant highlight effect. I don't know how that would work. I don't think I'm going to try it for that. But they also say that you can use this highlighter portion as an eyeshadow primer. So that's what I'm going to do today. So let's see how that works. See how it comes. There's two little wands and two different parts of it. So I'm going to go ahead and put just a little bit of that on my lids and pat that in. You know, it's a white color. I wonder if that's going to make the eyeshadow pop a lot more. It doesn't feel sticky, you know, like the CoverGirl lid lockup does. It feels more like, oh gosh, sort of moisturizing. Oh, now it's getting sticky. Now that it's drying down, it's getting a little bit sticky. So we'll see how it does holding that eyeshadow in place today. Okay, I've got that all tapped in, and you can see it kind of has just a real, like a wash of white over my lids, a little bit of white cast. So we'll see how that works today. The next product I'm going to use is my primer. This is my e.l.f. Mineral Infused Primer, and you know this is my, if you've been on my channel before, this is one of my favorite all-time products right now. I haven't found a primer that I like better at a drugstore price. This seems to really hold my foundation in place, but where it really shines is holding my concealer under my eyes in place, because you know that's a tough part for us with a little bit more mature skin. So I'm just going to pump out a little bit on the back of my hand. You can see right there. And then I'm going to go ahead and start washing that over my face. And I'm going to start in the larger planes of my face and then work into the active areas. And I always like to make sure that I get it underneath my eyes, because keeping that concealer in place during the day is important for me, because I've got a lot of wrinkles and lines underneath my eyes and a lot of movement. Maybe you do too. And then I like to get it in my marionette lines, and then make sure I get it over the areas of my face where I feel like I have enlarged pores, because it helps to smooth those areas. For eyeshadow today, I'm going to be using a brand new palette to me. This is the Wet n Wild Nude Awakening palette. I just thought it was a really pretty palette, and it's a combination of shimmers and mattes, and we'll just give it a try today. I haven't used it before. This is the first time, so let's see how it comes out. One thing that I really like about the Wet n Wild palettes is that they tell you exactly what part of the eye to put the different colors on. So if you're new to, wearing eyeshadow, it really helps. I mean, after you've done it for a while, you can kind of figure things out, but I think it's really nice that they really give us a starting point on where to put what color and how to put an eye together. So I'm going to start right up here with this transition color, right up here at the very top, and just to tap a little bit of that on my brush, just a very little bit, tap it off, and then I'm just going to start working that in to the crease of my lid. And I've found with my eyes now, maybe the same is for you, the skin is pretty crepey on my eyelids. So I've gotten to the point where, really tapping and very lightly brushing the shadow on is the best application. If I just try to windshield wiper it, that skin's just going to move back and forth and that shadow is not going to go on very evenly. So I found that just a real light tapping motion to get things started is the best way to go for me. Ooh, I'm really liking that transition color. Isn't that pretty? These Wet n Wild eyeshadow palettes, I think, are just such a good value. The product, the blend, the formula is really nice and they blend really well and they're so affordable. Most of them are just maybe $5 or $6. So I just think they're a great value, and sometimes I think they get overlooked because they're so inexpensive. Now I'm going to go in with a blending brush. This is a real soft bristle brush, and I'm just going to really blend the edges out of that crease color. So it really smooths out the look of that color, and there's no hard edges. For the lid color, I'm going to go into this real kind of creamy, shimmery champagne color right there. I think it's just a real pretty soft color and great for the kind of spring summer weather that we have right now. So I'm just going to tap a little bit on my flat brush, tap off the excess, and then just pat that on the lid of my eye. I think that's a real pretty color combination. Just the really light taupe and then that champagne-y color on the lid. I'm going to go in with my crease brush now and just tap it into this kind of, oh gosh, it's sort of a champagne-y taupe color with just a little bit of sparkle. I just want to deepen up that crease a little bit. And this is just going to be a real soft application. Now I'm going to go in with a thinner brush that kind of has a flat edge on the top, and I'm going to tap it into this darker taupey color here just to create some definition in the corner of the eye. So I'm just going to tap it in there really lightly, tap off any excess, and then just on the very edge of my eye, I'm going to go ahead and start tapping that in just on that edge. Now I'm going to go in again with my blending brush and just blend out those edges so that they're really smooth and it blends in with that crease color and that lid color. So I'm really just keeping that color in place. I'm just really softening up the edges. To finish things up with the eye, I'm going to go just right into this creamy matte color at the very top, tap my flat brush in it, and then I'm just going to very lightly sweep that underneath the brow, just to really highlight that arch in the brow and the brow bone area. This is a nice formula on this mat. And sometimes I like to bring it down on the sides because that really softens up the colors on the eyelid. I think that's just a real pretty natural eye look for every day. So there was a little bit of fallout from the lid color, so I'm going to go in with a Q-tip and just clean those areas up. And they'll brush off really easily. Now I'm going to try something that I don't generally do. I'm going to take a very small, tiny, flat, angled brush, and I'm going to dip it into the dark color that we used on the outer corners of the eyes, right here. And then I'm just going to tap that right along the lash line. and kind of tie it into that area on the corner, just to give a little bit more definition to that area of the eye. Depending on how your lids work for you, you could take this color and pull up a little bit of wing right into your upper eyelid. That doesn't work for me because of the creases that I have on the sides of my eyes. Maybe it will as things get better, but right now I'm unable to do that. But if it works for you, this is a wonderful opportunity to use that dark color to create a little wing. Next, we're going to go into foundation. And I'm really excited about this product. I've been hearing about it so much from so many different people. This is the Physicians Formula Healthy Foundation. And I've heard so many wonderful things about it, but I hadn't tried it yet. So I picked it up just a couple of days ago. I don't know how this color match is going to be. It swatched okay on my arm. I'm not sure how it's going to look on my face, but I'm really excited to try this today. So we'll go ahead and give this a whirl and I'll tell you how it goes on. So it has a huge one of those buckfoot applicators, as some of us call it. So it's got a buckfoot applicator, and I'm just going to go ahead and put some of that on my face. Kind of has a little bit of sort of a medicinal smell. Interesting. It doesn't smell pretty, but it doesn't necessarily smell bad either. So I'm going to start the foundation application with my foundation brush, and this is a Real Techniques brush, and I love this brush for smoothing in the foundation. And I like to start on the flat planes of my face and then work into the active areas so that the active areas get a much sheerer coat than the flatter planes do. It feels, you know, it has a little stiffer feeling than a lot of foundations, but boy, it's sure covering. I don't know if you have sunspots. I have them on the sides of my face, so that's kind of a benchmark for me if the foundation covers up those sunspots. The finish is looking really pretty. I don't have it all blended in yet. We'll see how it goes. And then in the active areas of my face where my marionette lines and deep creases, any place that you have deep creases, I try to keep it very, very sheer so it doesn't have an opportunity to give that product time to, or enough product to run into those lines and gather, have a party all on their own. And I always like to make sure that I get a little bit down my chin and into my neck area. If the color match is not dead on, then that really keeps things look a lot smoother down there. Once I get that foundation all blended in with my brush, I like to go back in with a beauty sponge and just press that foundation in. The reason I do that is that the finish that I seem to get with a beauty sponge is just like satin. It's so smooth and beautiful, and I can't seem to get that same finish with a brush or with my fingers. So I really like to go back in and give it that satiny smooth finish. So I'm just going around and pressing that foundation into my skin. So there we have the foundation all blended in. I think the color match is pretty good. I'm not sure of the color range. I think there might be 18 to 20 colors. The store I went to did not have that many. There was just a few, and they only had one bottle of the color I got. I have to say it blends in really well. From my mirror here, it looks very smooth. The colors looked all evened out. It's done a very good job of covering up my sunspots on the sides of my face. It seems to be like a medium to full coverage. I think that if you put on another coat on top of it, it'd be a very full coverage. It's a little bit thicker of a foundation. Like some foundations when you put on, it's very creamy, almost moisturizer like. This isn't that. It feels a little thicker. And the only thing that I seem to have a problem with is the smell. I don't care for the smell, although I'm not smelling it right now, so maybe it fades away. Let me know if you've used this, what you have any problems or issues with that smell. Next, I'm going to go in with the e.l.f. Concealer Highlighter Duo that we started with. Remember, we used this part for the primer on my lids. And I'm going to go ahead and use the concealer. I haven't heard much about this. I don't know how it's going to work on mature skin. You can see this is the concealer little doe foot applicator. So we'll give it a try. And lately I have just been using my concealer on the insides of my eyes. It seems like the new face and some of the skin products I'm using are helping with some of the issues that I had on the outside of my eyes, and I'm really not having to use much concealer in those areas. So we'll try this out and see how it works. So I just put a little bit in the corner of my eyes in those dark areas, and I'm just going to pat it in with my finger. Now this seems to really have, it's a very light color, and it has sort of a little, it seems to have a brightening effect. So I think it's as much a brightener, or it appears to be as much a brightener as a concealer. We'll see how it does at concealing my dark circles. Okay, it taps in really easy and smoothly. I don't know, what do you think about how it's concealing my under eye circles? It's hard to tell from this vantage point. So we'll just go with it. I'm going to go ahead and set that now, the under eye concealer. And I'm going to be using the Rimmel Stay Matte powder. This is fairly new to me. I've used it just a couple of times, but not enough to really have an opinion about it. So I'm going to go ahead and use it today. And I'm just going to shake, it's a loose powder, so I'm just going to shake a tiny bit out into the lid. And then I like to use my e.l.f. angled brush. You can see it has a little angle here for setting my under eyes. It's just the way that I like to do it. So I'm just going to tap a little bit on my brush, tap it off, and then I'm just going to lay it underneath really gently, my under eye area. And then what I like to do is I like to make sure all of the product is off the brush, and then just brush away any excess product. And I'm going to go ahead and take a little bit of that product on the brush, tap it off, and just tap it into my T-zone area where I seem to get a little bit of oiliness during the day. Next, I'm going to go in with my Wet n Wild contouring palette. This is new to me. I had another e.l.f. bronzer palette that I just about loved to death. So I decided I needed to give something else a try. So this is their contouring palette. I kind of use it as more of a bronzer than a contour. So the contour color's here, and then there's a highlighter color here. And honestly, I haven't hardly used this at all. I don't think I've used it. So I'm just going to go in with a very fluffy brush. I'm going to tap it into the contour bronzer color, tap off the excess, and then I'm just going to start hitting the outside areas of my face. And I always like to start in with the area right around my hairline, just a little bit up in that hairline. You can see just that has really added some warmth to my complexion. So start there, and then with the product that's left on the brush, I kind of bring it down the sides of my face, and then a little bit into the cheek area, right underneath the apples of the cheeks, and that kind of that underneath your cheekbone area. It's not really contouring, it's just adding a little bit of warmth and color to that area. And then I like to add a little down underneath my chin and down my neck. And you can see how much that's done, just to add a little bit more color and dimension back to the face. You know, when we put our foundation on, it's great at smoothing away all the colors, but it also smooths away all the contours. So this really adds back some color and depth into our faces. For blush, I'm going to be using my Profusion Blush 2 palette. I love the Profusion line of products. The price point is so good and the products are just lovely. So this is their Blush 2 palette. And this is fairly new to me. I think I've only used it once or twice. It has matte blushes and kind of a little shimmery blush, but don't be afraid, it's not sparkly. It's more like just a soft shimmer, kind of a glow within. And I've really gotten hooked on these sort of semi-shimmery blushes because they just add such a glow to the skin. It's really hard for me lately to use just a strictly matte blush. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into this top color right here, and that is Pink Star. And I'm just going to tap my brush in really lightly, tap off the excess, And then what I'm going to do is just hit the outside apples of my cheeks, just very gently. And I'm going to make sure that I stay on this side of my face and don't go back, don't go further than kind of the middle of my eye. See how that just added a little bit of peachy glow? Then I'm going to go back in and just tap into this little brighter color down here, just a tiny bit. And then just tap real gently on my cheek area. This is really pigmented. You don't need a lot. And you can see that's really added some color, but it really needs to be blended in. So I'm going to go back in with my blending brush, and I'm really just going to smooth that into the skin. And that'll kind of blend out the bronzer and the blush together and just give a real pretty glow. For my highlighter today, I'm going to be using one of my favorites. This is the Wet n Wild highlighting powder. And I believe it's called Golden Crown. It's really a pretty color and very soft. So I just go in with a smaller tapered soft bristle brush, tap it into the product really lightly, tap off any excess, and then I just very gently put that on the tops of my cheeks and a little bit around my eye, just on the outside edges of that cheek area. Just a little bit. I really enjoy this because what I find is that I can put on just a little bit of the shimmer blush and a little bit of the highlight, and you know, during the middle of the day when I'll catch myself in the mirror, other things might be fading and not looking as fresh, but this will really keep my face giving that kind of youthful, dewy, glowy look. I love it. For my eyes today, to Tightline, I'm going to be using my favorite. This is the Ulta Gel Liner. If you've seen my videos before, you know how much I love this. These pencils are available, obviously, only from Ulta. And if you can get them on sale, they're just such a bargain. They go on really smoothly. They don't move once they're set. I really, really like it. And you can get the Ulta pencil sharpener that is only like $2 or something, and it sharpens these pencils so beautifully. You know how sometimes when you'll sharpen a pencil and the tip will just keep breaking and breaking and breaking? I hate that. It's so frustrating. This sharpener doesn't do it, so I really love these pencils and the sharpener. So I'm just going to put that pencil right up underneath my lashes and really just hit the base of the lashes with the pencil. For mascara today, I'm going to use my current mascara crush. It's the CoverGirl Exhibitionist mascara. I'm so in love with this mascara. I've never used a better mascara for the things I like, which are lengthening and volumizing. I've used high-end and drugstore mascaras, and this is just my favorite. I haven't found anything that I like as much as this. So if you haven't used it and you're looking around for a mascara, you might want to give this a try. You might love it as well. So it has kind of a fairly big applicator, so you need to be careful. And I'll just start in with the lashes. And you can see how much length and volume I've gotten just from one quick application, one coat. Look what a great job that mascara did. I just think it's a beautiful volumizing and lengthening mascara. For lips today, I'm going to be using the Maybelline Color Stay liquid lipstick, and this is in the color Lover. Now, I've used this a few times, but not very much. So I thought it would just look really pretty with this sort of natural look that we have going today. This has a nice little pointed applicator, so it makes it real easy to get this on in very clean lines on your lips. If you have lip wrinkles like I do, this is really helpful because these liquid lipsticks, they don't bleed into those little lines and, and give you that uh-oh look throughout the day. So there we have the Maybelline Color Stay lips on, and I'm going to go back in and take my Milani Keep It Full and put just a tiny bit of gloss right in the middle of the bottom lip, and that'll kind of volumize, give the appearance of more volume in my lips. So there we have the finished look for today. It's kind of a very natural, soft, pretty look for spring and summer. You know, I like that foundation. I think the coverage is really good. The smell's a little hard to manage in the beginning. I don't know if you used it before. Comment down below what your favorite foundation is for mature skin. And then what do you guys think about that concealer? Do you think it's enough coverage? I don't know. Tell me what you think and what your favorite concealer is. So there we have it. So we tried a new eyeshadow today, new foundation, a little bit of a new bronzer, newer blush palette, lipstick I've had for a while. So I hope you enjoyed this. If you aren't subscribed to my channel and you'd like to be, just go ahead and click that red button down below. And if you want to be notified of my future videos, just go ahead and click the notification bell and YouTube will let you know when there's a new video up for you to see. Again, this is Pretty Over 50. I'm Kimberly and I really appreciate you stopping by today. I'm really glad that you were here. So thank you for your time and I will see you in the next video. Bye now.